Every 17 years, nature cues up a peculiar playlist, one teeming with the rhythmic, relentless buzzing of cicadas. Yes, that's right. It's cicada season again, when the air vibrates with the song of millions, and life seems to take on a soundtrack straight out of a sci-fi film. Welcome to 10 Tips to Survive the Cicadaing, your ultimate guide to not just enduring, but embracing the fascinating phenomenon of cicada emergence. Imagine this. You step outside, and it feels like you've walked into a live concert, one where the cicadas are the stars, and you, my friend, are an unwitting audience member. But fear not. This guide is here to arm you with the quirkiest, most effective strategies to protect your peace, your sanity, and yes, even your sense of humor during this natural spectacle. From turning your home into a fortress of solitude to making peace with the inevitable bug barrage, we'll cover all the bases. We'll dive into fashion tips that keep you stylish and cicada-free, culinary twists on how to add some crunch to your lunch, and even how to turn your yard cleanup into a neighborhood bash. So grab your earplugs, your sense of adventure, and maybe a broom. It's time to tune into the cicada wave and learn how to dance to the beat of their ancient drums. Ready to laugh, learn, and maybe plug your ears? Let's get started on mastering the art of living and thriving through the cicada serenade. Tip 1. Soundproof Sanctuary. Cicada season. Nature's own festival. Except instead of music, there's a constant, maddening buzz that makes you wonder if this is what drove Van Gogh to chop off his ear. If you're dreading the thought of millions of these little buggers turning your home into a live concert venue for their greatest hits, then buckle up. Creating a soundproof sanctuary is your first line of defense against the decibel disaster about to unfold. First things first, let's talk windows. Those thin panes of glass are all that stand between you and the ear-splitting serenades of love-struck cicadas. It's time to fortify. Investing in some heavy-duty soundproof curtains might sound like overkill, but trust me, when the choir starts its warm-up, you'll be thanking the soundproofing gods. Think of it as blackout curtains' noisy neighbor, blocking out sound instead of light. Next up, doors. You'd be surprised how much noise seeps through the cracks around them. Weather stripping isn't just for keeping out drafts anymore, it's a sanity saver. Seal those gaps, and you'll not only keep out unwanted noise, but maybe lower your AC bill too. Because let's face it, you'll want to keep those windows firmly shut. But what about when you need to open a door or window? Enter the white noise machines. These handy gadgets can help drown out the cicada symphony with something a little less apocalyptic. Whether you prefer the sound of rain, ocean waves, or an industrial fan, anything is better than the constant buzz of 1,000 cicadas plotting to take over your eardrums. For the hardcore DIYers out there, consider adding some extra insulation to your walls. It's a bigger project, yes, but if you're in a particularly cicada-heavy area, it might just be worth it. Plus, it's a great excuse to finally finish that basement, turning it into a quiet haven, or panic room, when the buzzing gets too much. In conclusion, while you might not be able to completely escape the cacophony, these soundproofing tips can turn your home from front-row concert seats to the nosebleed section. And remember, it's only every 17 years, like a bad comet, only noisier. So hang in there, stock up on earplugs, and maybe start practicing mindfulness or something. You've got this. Tip 2. Cicada-proof fashion. When the cicada swarm descends, it's not just the noise that can drive you batty. It's also the unsolicited close encounters of the buzzing kind. If you thought your daily outfit challenges were tough, try dressing for a biblical-scale bug onslaught. Welcome to cicada-proof fashion, where functionality meets, oh hell no, get off me. First rule of cicada-proof fashion, cover up. Those little buggers have a knack for finding the weirdest places to cling onto. Think long sleeves and pants, even if it's hotter outside than a barbecue grill. You might sweat a bucket, but at least you won't be a live landing pad. And hey, sweating is just your body crying tears of joy for not being covered in cicadas, right? Next, let's talk headgear. A sturdy hat with a wide brim isn't just a fashion statement, it's a necessity. But why stop there? Go full beekeeper chic with a netted hat. Not only will you keep cicadas at bay, but you'll also enjoy the confused looks from your neighbors. Free entertainment. Just remember, The goal is to keep the bugs out, not to audition for the next season of Survivor. Now, color choice might seem trivial, but in the world of cicada fashion, it's strategic. Stick to light colors to avoid attracting more heat than you already have to endure. Sure, you might miss out on your goth phase this summer, but black attire in a cicada invasion is about as practical as wearing honey at a bear convention. Accessorizing is key. Think heavy-duty sunglasses to protect your eyes from kamikaze cicadas. And why not a fanny pack? They're back in style, sort of, and perfect for carrying your cicada survival kit. Insect repellent, earplugs, and a portable fan to blow those suckers away when they get too close for comfort. To wrap it up, your fashion choices during a cicada invasion can mean the difference between a normal day and a day spent in an itchy, scratchy nightmare. Embrace the layers, protect your personal space with netting, and always choose function over fashion. Because nothing says, "I'm ready for summer," quite like a full-body cicada shield. Walk out the door with confidence, or at least with the satisfaction that you're about as approachable as a cactus, and enjoy the great outdoors, cicada style. Tip 3. The Great Outdoors. Welcome to the Thunderdome, otherwise known as your backyard during cicada season. Venturing outdoors when billions of these noisy buggers are about is like walking into a rave that you definitely didn't RSVP to. But fear not, brave souls, for with the right tactics, you can still enjoy your slice of nature without turning into a cicada party platter. First things first, timing is everything. Cicadas are like that annoying neighbor who blasts techno at all the wrong hours. They have their peak times. Do a little recon, figure out when they're most active in your area, and plan your outings when they're likely to be on their siesta. Early morning or late evening are your best bets for a quasi-peaceful experience. Just imagine you're avoiding paparazzi, except they're loud and have 6 legs. Now let's talk strategy. Moving swiftly is your new best friend. Think of yourself as a ninja. Each step calculated, each breath measured. Why, you ask? Because cicadas are attracted to movement and noise. The less you act like a living, breathing disco ball, the better your chances of not turning into a bug magnet. What about the attire? We've covered cicada-proof fashion, but here's a pro tip. Avoid heavy perfumes or colognes. You might think that eau de toilette masks your fear, but to a cicada, you just upgraded yourself to a VIP sensation. Stick to unscented products unless you want to be the life of the cicada party. Activities in cicada season need a rethink. Lawn mowing? Think twice. That mower is like a dinner bell to a cicada. Gardening? More like a buffet setup. If you must indulge in these activities, consider some noise-canceling headphones and a portable fan. The fan isn't just for your comfort. It's to create a mini wind tunnel that baffles the cicadas. They're not the best flyers, so a little wind goes a long way. Lastly, embrace the chaos. There's something oddly freeing about accepting the madness of cicada season. Turn their incessant droning into a game. Count how many land on you, then beat your record the next day. Or narrate a documentary in your head. Here we see the wild human braving the great cicada storm of 2021. In conclusion, surviving the great outdoors during cicada season doesn't require you to become a hermit. Just a little savvy, a touch of stealth, and a good sense of humor. Remember, it's only every few years. Enough time to forget how bad it was and be surprised all over again. Happy adventuring, and may the cicadas ever be in your favor. Tip 4. Cicada cuisine. Welcome to the wild world of cicada cuisine, where eating local takes on a whole new meaning, and the phrase farm to table might just mean your backyard to your kitchen table. If you can't beat 'em, eat 'em, right? So buckle up, culinary adventurers, as we dive fork first into the buzzing bounty of cicada season. First off, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, people really eat these things. Cicadas are not only edible, but are considered delicacies in many parts of the world. High in protein and low in carbs. Sounds like a keto lover's dream, doesn't it? Before you start harvesting, remember that not all cicadas are created equal. Aim for the newly emerged ones, affectionately known as tenorals. They're softer, juicier, and haven't yet developed the bitter existential dread of their older counterparts. Now, preparation is key. You wouldn't eat raw chicken, and the same goes for cicadas. These critters need to be cooked. Think of them as nature's shrimp of the land. Boil them, sauté them, or if you're feeling fancy, toss them in a tempura batter and deep fry those babies to golden perfection. Just imagine the crunch, seasoned with a bit of garlic and maybe a sprinkle of madness. Let's talk recipes. Start simple with cicada stir-fry, a dash of soy sauce, a sprinkle of sesame, and a whole lot of chutzpah. Or how about cicada tacos? Just replace the fish in your regular fish tacos with cicadas, add some cilantro, chopped onion, and a squeeze of lime, and you've got yourself a conversation starter at your next dinner party. Of course, for the faint of heart, disguising the cicada is key. Grind them into a fine paste, mix with some spices, and form them into patties. Serve on a bun with all the fixings, and voila! It's a burger with a buzz. Just don't tell your guests until after they've complimented your innovative cooking. Embracing cicada cuisine is about mind over matter. If you can overlook the fact that you're munching on a bug, you're in for a culinary adventure that's both sustainable and surprisingly tasty. Plus, it's a great diet plan. Nothing kills an appetite quite like a plate of bugs staring back at you. So, this cicada season, why not turn the tables and make these critters the guests of honor at your next barbecue? On the grill, not as the guests. Tip 5. Pet protection. Welcome to the fur and feather flying chaos that is protecting your beloved pets during cicada season. Sure, cicadas aren't exactly the apex predators of the insect world, but tell that to your dog who thinks he's just encountered a buffet that flies. Here's your guide to keeping Fido and Whiskers sane and safe when the skies and trees buzz with our not-so-little friends. First rule, monitor those munchies. While cicadas aren't harmful to pets per se, too many can cause a real tummy turmoil. You haven't known true horror until you've dealt with a cicada-induced upset stomach at 2 a.m. And remember, what goes in must come out. So unless you want to turn your yard into a minefield of bug-studded surprises, keep your pet's cicada snacking to a minimum. Secondly, let's talk walks. Walking your dog during cicada season is like strolling through a popcorn machine. Stuff is popping and dropping everywhere. To protect your pup's peace of mind and your own sanity, consider adjusting your walk times to the cooler parts of the day when cicadas are less active. Early morning or late evening strolls can be your new best friend, much like that lint roller you'll need after your dog rolls in a pile of cicadas. Now, on to the feline members of the family. Cats might see cicadas as the ultimate playthings, but too much play can turn into trouble. Keeping your cats indoors during peak cicada times isn't just good for their health, it's a mercy for the cicadas. Plus, it saves you the hassle of trying to pry a half-munched cicada from under your couch. For the more adventurous, or desperate pet owners, consider cicada-proofing your backyard. A fine mesh net over your patio can create a cicada-free zone where your pets can roam more freely. Just be sure it's secure, because a breach in the cicada net could lead to what I like to call a bugalypse. Let's not forget about the noise. Cicadas can be deafening, and sensitive pet ears might not take kindly to the constant drone. Creating a quiet, comfortable space inside can help. Think of it as a zen den. A few comfy pillows, their favorite blanket, and perhaps a soothing classical music playlist. It won't just calm them down, it might just keep you from going buggy too. In conclusion, while cicada season can be a trial by fire or by flying insects, keeping your pets safe doesn't have to be a nightmare. A little preparation, a lot of patience, and maybe a good sense of humor will see you and your furry friends through. Remember, this too shall pass. Just like cicada season, pet parenthood is all about embracing the chaos and finding joy in the madness. After all, isn't unconditional love what owning a pet is all about? Even if it comes with a side of cicadas. Tip 6. Cicada-proof your vehicle. So, you thought your car was just for commuting and the occasional road trip? Welcome to cicada season, where every vehicle doubles as a potential cicada shuttle. Let's gear up for some serious battle tactics to keep those buzzing buggers out of your sacred automotive space. First up, the air vents. These little gateways can turn your car into a cicada singles bar if you're not careful. Before you start your engine, check your vents. If the thought of cicadas playing peekaboo through your AC sends shivers down your spine, consider covering your vents with fine mesh screens. Sure, it might look like your car is wearing a hairnet, but better safe than sorry. Next, let's talk windows. It might be tempting to roll them down and enjoy the fresh air, until you realize that fresh now includes airborne cicadas. Keep those windows up. If you absolutely must have a breeze, try cracking the window just a smidge, just enough to feel the air, but not enough to turn your car into a cicada fiesta. Parking strategy is also key. You see that lovely tree-lined street that looks so inviting? It's a trap. Park there, and you'll come back to a car coated in cicadas, turning your ride home into a horror movie on wheels. Instead, opt for open, unshaded areas. It might make your car a sauna, but at least it's a bug-free sauna. Now, for the interior. Cicadas are sneaky, and even with all precautions, one or two might breach your defenses. Keep a cicada emergency kit in your car, include a pair of tweezers for the delicate removal of unwanted guests, a small spray bottle of water, cicadas hate a spritz, and a calming playlist to soothe your nerves after an encounter. Finally, the cleanup. Cicadas, bless their little exoskeletal hearts, will leave behind more than just memories. They're messy guests. Keep a supply of wet wipes and a small handheld vacuum in your car for post-cicada cleanup. You'll thank yourself when you're not finding dried cicada wings under your seat months later. In conclusion, your car doesn't have to be a cicada nightmare. With some preparation and a bit of humor, you can keep your car cicada-free and your sanity intact. Remember, it's only a few weeks every few years, so with these tips, you'll cruise through cicada season like a boss. Just don't forget to occasionally check your rear view for stowaways. These little critters are notorious for loving a good road trip. Tip 7. Mental health and cicadas. Navigating cicada season is more than just a physical challenge. It's a full-blown mental marathon. Let's face it, the constant buzzing isn't just annoying. It can drive you batshit crazy if you're not careful. Here's how to keep your sanity intact when it feels like the world is being taken over by these noisy little buggers. First, understand what you're up against. Cicadas aren't just loud. They're like that drunk uncle at a family reunion who doesn't know when to shut up. They start early and don't let up. It's natural to feel a bit on edge, but recognizing that it's temporary can help you keep a cool head. Or at least a semi-cool head. Noise-canceling headphones will be your best friend. Invest in a good pair. When the outside world sounds like it's hosting the Insect Olympics, these babies can make you feel like you're in your own peaceful, albeit slightly surreal bubble. Use them liberally, and don't feel guilty about it. Self-care, baby. Next, get physical. Exercise can be a great way to cope with stress and anxiety. Go for a run, indoors, if the cicada choir is too much. Hit the gym, or try some high-energy home workouts. Punching bags work wonders if you start imagining each cicada's face on the bag. Just kidding. Sort of. If the sound becomes too much, have an escape plan. Maybe there's a local cafe that's as soundproof as a bunker, or perhaps a friend's house who lives in a less cicada-crazy zone. A change of scenery can do wonders for your mental health, and a few hours of quiet can feel like a spa day after the din of cicada season. Embrace the madness. Sometimes, the best way to deal with a crazy situation is to lean into it. Try making a game out of the cicada season. Count how many you see in a day, take photos of the weirdest places you find them, or start a blog about your experiences. Turning frustration into creativity can transform your mental battleground into a playground. In conclusion, surviving the mental assault of cicada season requires a mix of preparation, self-care, and a good sense of humor. Remember, it's not forever, just a noisy tip in your life's story. And when it's all over, you'll have some unbelievable tales to tell. Plus, you can look forward to enjoying the sweet sound of silence once they're gone. Hang in there, and don't let the cicadas get inside your head, literally or figuratively. Tip 8. Community cohesion. When the cicada invasion hits, it's like the whole neighborhood is starring in a B-grade horror movie. Except the special effects are all too real, and the soundtrack is relentlessly annoying. But here's the silver lining. Community cohesion. Because nothing brings people together like a shared enemy, especially one that flies and buzzes incessantly. Step 1 in fostering community spirit: start a cicada watch group. Think of it as a neighborhood watch. But instead of looking out for sketchy characters, you're scouting for peak cicada activity. Equip your team with brooms, nets, and a sense of humor. When you're chasing cicadas together, you're building bonds. Just make sure you don't accidentally whack a neighbor with a net. Friendly fire isn't quite as friendly when it involves an enthusiastic cicada clearing swing. Get organized with a cicada cleanup crew. Those little critters leave a mess, and dealing with the aftermath is easier when everyone chips in. Coordinate a cicada cleanup day with brooms, leaf blowers, and plenty of garbage bags. It's like a block party, but with more purpose and less potato salad. Who knew picking up bug carcasses could be such a bonding experience? Host cicada education sessions. Knowledge is power, and when it comes to surviving cicada season, it's also sanity. Invite a local entomologist or a brave biology teacher to give a talk about cicada life cycles, behaviors, and fun facts. Not only will you learn something, but understanding your tiny tormentors can make them seem less overwhelming. Plus, it's always fun to see who squeals when they pass around cicada specimens. If you can't beat them, celebrate them. How about a cicada costume contest? Or cicada-themed baking competitions? Imagine the delicious, or disastrous, results of recipes inspired by cicadas. Cicada cookies, anyone? They might not be tasty, but they'll definitely be memorable. Lastly, remember that laughter is the best medicine. Organize a comedy night where everyone shares their funniest cicada stories. Laughter will not only help relieve the stress of the cicada cacophony, but will also strengthen community ties. After all, you're all in this buzzing boat together. Tip 9. Enjoy the phenomenon. Ah, cicada season. That magical time when the air is filled with the sweet sounds of incessant, mind-numbing buzzing. But hey, why not make the best of this bug bonanza? Here's how to strap in and enjoy the cicada phenomenon, turning your despair into delight, or at least into a tolerable amusement. First off, think of it as a nature documentary, and you're the star. David Attenborough might not be narrating your life, but you can certainly pretend. Give your best impression. Here, we observe the Homo sapiens attempting to coexist with the noisy cicada brood. Get creative with your commentary. It's not just annoying, it's an auditory adventure. Throw a cicada-themed party. If you can't escape them, celebrate them. Invite friends over for a buzzing bash. Decorate with cicada streamers? Just pictures, please. Play pin the wing on the cicada, and mix up some cicada-themed cocktails. Extra points for creativity. How about a cicada sunrise? It's just like a tequila sunrise, except you'll want to drink enough to forget you're surrounded by bugs. Engage in cicada arts and crafts. Ever tried your hand at cicada shell jewelry? It's the fashion statement no one asked for, but everyone will notice. Or how about cicada shell collage art? Get the kids involved. It's educational, it's sticky, and it might just help them stop screaming every time they see a cicada. Host a cicada sound mimic contest. Who can imitate a cicada the best? Gather your friends or family and let everyone give their best cicada buzz. Record it and play it back for laughs. Just don't let the neighborhood dogs join in. The howling might make things more chaotic. Lastly, embrace the absurdity. There's something profoundly bizarre about millions of insects deciding to party all at once every 17 years. It's like they've been planning this reunion since before the internet was a thing. Lean into the weirdness. Write cicada haikus. Start a blog from the perspective of a cicada. Make a cicada documentary with your phone. Become the cicada content creator no one knew they needed. In conclusion, while you might not have chosen to live through a cicada invasion, you can certainly choose to make it memorable in good ways. Laugh at the lunacy, create bizarre bug art, and remember, this too shall pass. In the meantime, make it the backdrop of some great stories you'll tell one day. Like that time you wore a cicada shell necklace to a formal event. Just remember, it's not every day you get to be part of a natural phenomenon that's as loud as it is fascinating. Tip 10. Post-cicada cleanup. Congratulations. You've survived the cicada onslaught, but now comes the aftermath. Picture this. Your yard looks like it hosted a cicada frat party, and unfortunately, they've left more than just memories behind. Don't worry though, The cleanup can be another adventure. Sort of like treasure hunting, if the treasure was biodegradable and occasionally still twitching. First up, you're going to need the right gear. Arm yourself with a sturdy rake, gloves, and maybe a hazmat suit. Kidding, sort of. Think of yourself as an archaeologist, except instead of uncovering ancient civilizations, you're just uncovering last week's dead cicadas. Exciting, right? Now, dealing with the sheer volume of cicada bodies can be overwhelming. Start by making piles. If you're feeling particularly entrepreneurial, why not turn it into a community event? Bring your own broom. Day in the neighborhood can be a blast. With the right playlist and enough cold drinks, it might not even feel like work. Don't forget the trees. Cicadas love to leave their exoskeletons clinging to the bark like tiny grotesque ornaments. A good hose down can help, but for the stubborn ones, a soft brush will do the trick. It's like giving your tree a spa day after it hosted the insect apocalypse. Consider the composting potential. Cicadas are organic matter, after all. If you've got a compost bin, these critters can contribute to your garden's future growth. It's the circle of life, and it moves us all, through various stages of disgust and fascination. Just make sure your neighbors are okay with it. Honey, I added cicadas to our compost is not always a well-received surprise. Lastly, take a moment to reflect on the experience. You've just witnessed one of nature's most bizarre phenomena, a brood of insects surfacing after 17 years for a few glorious weeks of sun, song, and romance. Maybe snap some before and after photos for your Survive the Cicada Invasion scrapbook. It'll be a hit at parties. In conclusion, post-cicada cleanup might not be the most glamorous task, but with a little humor and a lot of elbow grease, you can restore your sanctuary. Plus, now you've got some killer stories to share, like that time you turned cicada shells into compost gold, or when you hosted the neighborhood cleanup rave. Here's to making memories, surviving the swarm, and enjoying the quiet. Until the next time, that is. Cheers to the silence. Well, folks, we've reached the end of our buzzing journey together in 10 tips to survive the cicadaing. If you followed along, you're now equipped with the best and quirkiest survival tactics to not just endure, but possibly even enjoy the next cicada serenade. Who knew that embracing the chaos could be so much fun and so loud? Remember, every 17 years, you get a chance to refine your approach. Think of it as a recurring exam where the questions, or in this case, the cicadas, are loud and clear. But the answers keep getting funnier and more creative. You've learned how to soundproof your sanctuary, chic up your cicada-proof fashion, and turn a potential backyard nightmare into a neighborhood block party. Hopefully, you've found some humor amidst the hum, some peace amidst the pandemonium, and maybe you've even grown a little fond of our noisy neighbors. After all, they're here for a good time, not a long time. Sort of like that one uncle at family reunions. So, until the next emergence, keep your brooms handy, your fashion funky, and your sense of humor fully charged. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on our next guide to surviving Mother Nature's quirkiest curveballs. Buzz off now and enjoy the silence while it lasts. Here's to making it through the cicada season with a smile, and maybe a few new recipes under your belt. Stay tuned, stay prepared, and remember, when life gives you cicadas, make cicada aid.